All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. So, Leos, we are headed into the Lion's Gate portal, which will be the 8-8 portal, but we're kind of already in that energy flow from the 26th of July all the way into like the 10th or 12th of August. So, we're kind of already rocking some of this energy, but we'll keep all this in mind as we get started and we see what is the alignment energy. So, Lion's Gate is where we have the Sirius, the dog star, in alignment with the earth, with the sun, and also with Orion's belt. So we've got kind of like a nice, I'll say, an increased energy flow directed. And of course, this is a great energy for Leo, considering, it's Leo season and all that. So, what does this mean? Well, we have got the Three of Cups in the reverse, which would actually talk about either putting like a spotlight on connections that are no more. It could be putting a spotlight on things that Leo needs to close doors on, relationships specifically. Page of Pentacles is sideways. Make room for the new baby. The baby is anything we're going to nurture and grow. New love, business. This could be, if we've been holding on to something outmoded or outdated, it's really time to let that go. Seven of Swords. Okay, we're not telling Leo anything they didn't already know. Leo has known it was time to let go of something for a while. It's been time. They've been ignoring maybe their messenger here, but this is Year of the Snake. It's time to go ahead and let something go. If somebody has not yet spoken to Leo, but they linger and they hang around, and Leo's like, I know they still think of me. This says, but does Leo still have to think of them? If somebody cannot come toward Leo, then maybe it's time for Leo to like really let go of that and just gravitate toward, someone who can be there for Leo, somebody who does have something to say to Leo, somebody who is supportive toward Leo. It is definitely time to shed an old skin. And I'm going to say, stop holding on to a lover who perhaps hides in the shadows, who's attracted to Leo, but can't seem to give them more direct attention. Now, again, Leo gets to decide what Leo wants to do. It's just I'm reading what we see in this storyline so far. And it does, to me, it appears that Leo's in a place where they have even wanted to let go of somebody for a while. We've got an Ace of Cups. It's time for Leo to take their heart back, is what it says. Protect their beautiful energy, protect their beautiful heart. The kind of person who's going to really reach out to Leo and be a part of Leo's world, that's who deserves Leo's heart, not somebody who's just hanging out in the shadows, or somebody who's only ever like hit on Leo, but can't give them more than that, can't give them something stable and long-term. I definitely feel like Leo has somebody who still watches him from the shadows. This is likely an ex, somebody who's very attracted to Leo, still, they want Leo, and Leo might be aware of that, but it's like, I think I'm fooling myself if I think that they've changed, because they would have approached me by now if they had. And my heart is way too precious for this like game that is kind of played here from what I can see. I mean, that's the best way I would describe this anyway. And I agree. I think Leo deserves, far better. They deserve somebody who's like right there in their life and being a part of Leo's life with them. Ace of Swords. This is the only thing holding Leo back from flying away is toilet paper, right? This is not really around our eagle's arms or wings. So we know that Leo's not really stuck on this. Not really. They've known to cut this energy out of their life for a while, but it's just being heightened perhaps during this particular portal energy. Let's go with this deck actually. So what does that mean? If Leo has to make space for the next new thing to nurture, what is the next new thing coming in? Because I feel like this is the universe prepping Leo, like, hey, you do know there's something else better. Nine of Cups, great personal satisfaction and happiness. We have an Ace of Cups in the reverse, and we have the Six of Swords. Personal satisfaction replacing the feeling of sorrow, loss, lack of fulfillment, and personal satisfaction and joy replacing the feeling of like, being adrift or not really knowing, what happens next. It's contentment and personal joy is what seems to be up slated next for Leo. And so it would seem that this person that Leo needs to maybe cut their energy loose from, might be like a joy thief, or an energy sink for Leo, because it says that Leo's going to have a time frame of tremendous joy, particularly in the month of September, just because of that 9 that I saw there. And it makes me think September is going to be fabulous. And we double down on that. There's our Leo. And we've got, again, the baby here. So new, fresh, innocent, joyful things. We've got the dog. We've got this huge sense of loyalty. We've got a sunflower in the sky. But you know what I was seeing? If I pull this back, what I saw was a ring, like a gold ring, like a wedding band, circling around like a planet. That's what that looked like to me. But you move it forward, and obviously it's a sunflower. This is Leo's card, the sun. But this is joy, this is clarity, and we couple it with, loyalty and newness and walking through the fields of lavender. So we have relaxation. And I'm just going to say, I really think that Leo has a new potential romantic partner, possibly a fellow Leo, but certainly Leo is entering into the next chapter of their life that's going to be much more peaceful, which is something that I don't believe this previous person gave to Leo. I'm so sorry to say it. And to be so blunt, please do remember these are fictional stories about fictional characters. But I think Leo had an ex in this storyline who really, really, really thinks Leo is hot and sexy, always has, always will. But they got nothing more to offer Leo other than that attraction. Will they always still wish that they could have dalliances with Leo? Yep, for sure. Of course they will. Who wouldn't want to be with Leo? But do they have anything more to offer? That's their failing, not Leo's. If that's all they think they've got is, whatever's in the southern hemisphere, that's all they got to offer. That's something they need to go work on. But it's not that they may not have more to offer Leo. That may be the baseline that they operate off of. It's just passion and double entendres and innuendos and, but no real ability to build a strong bond and build a foundation. But that would be true across the board for them. That has nothing to do with Leo. Has nothing to do with what Leo's worth, has nothing to do with even what they would want to give to Leo. It's just where they're capable of operating. And that's where their baseline is. And unfortunately, they're not changing anything. Or they haven't yet. And everything here says that maybe if Leo stops thinking and waiting for them to change, that would be in Leo's best interest. Because Leo has, this next chapter of their life is going to be so much happier. And it could involve meeting the person that Leo will marry. I'm sorry that I keep seeing that as a wedding ring. Can I see more about that? It feels to me like, yeah, okay, so definitely. We've got an Empress, we've got Libra Taurus vibe coming in, but more importantly, what we have is Leo's next chapter. The reason Leo has to shake off this person of the past, break away and stop even maybe remembering their name, is because it makes space for Leo to meet the person they'll marry. This is long-term serious commitment stuff. That's what comes in next. The kind of love Leo hasn't had it. But if Leo was hurt because how come this player couldn't love me? Again, the big thing is this player, that Leo's been asking themselves the wrong question. It's not why could this player not love me? It's more did this player have anything more to offer other than what's in the southern hemisphere? If that's it, that's all they got to offer, then love doesn't even come into this equation, right? It's purely passion-based. That's where their brain is at. That's where they operate at. They were already giving Leo what they could offer, and it wasn't what Leo wanted. So it changes, when we ask that question differently, it changes the answer, and therefore it changes the way Leo can think about things and let that person go. And now they're able to not be hurt by the love that they perceive they didn't receive, and instead they're totally ready to meet someone that they, could have a long-term connection with, a real love story with. We've got a 10 of Wands. Oh my God, this is such a sense of relief. And then you notice Leo is walking right toward that heart that is, I didn't draw that on. It's actually on the card. Like it's been, graffitied onto the stucco wall. But the 10 of Wands is laying down burdens, obstacles, the things that would have been preventing our Leo from actually enjoying having a love story. Well, they can enjoy this now. It's real. It's Queen of Cups. Finally, Leo's cup gets to be filled. Finally, this is the right time. How swiftly does Leo meet somebody else? Because I'm feeling like this is going to be real soon. If this Lion Gates portal is just like helping Leo to open up, like the storage locker of their mind and empty out the memory of an ex and even the ex's name, and then, creating space for a new person to step in. Oh, I think it's really fast. And not only that, but we have an Emperor and an 8 of Wands. This is rapid incoming. It's like Leo could practically meet someone within days of letting go of this kind of player X from the past. This is a very wonderful Lionsgate portal, because I feel like this is a chance for Leo to unpack some stuff that they've been lugging around and then immediately get on like a new train and ride it into, their future, which is an Emperor and an Empress relationship. This is the person Leo will marry. Emperors and emperors get married. Now, again, whatever that means, right? It doesn't have to be marriage. It can be, it's just that they're a very well-matched, very serious duo who would run an empire very, very well, and they would share what it requires to run an empire. They would share the trials, the tribulations, the joy, the stresses, all of it. So it's just really nice, balanced energy and very serious long-term implications. We got an Ace of Cups upright. It's about time Leo was loved right. Leo was loved too much. Can I see anything about who this Emperor is? Because I almost feel like that's what the universe is saying. Like they're shooting this like laser beam toward Leo to say, hey, please let go of the thoughts of that other person to make room for this new person's name. We got a 5 of Pentacles. So this Emperor could be walking away from some kind of like empty chapter of their life as well. And that's what I would say this is. I think perhaps Leo had been pining for an empty vessel. Somebody who just didn't have much more to offer. Well, it looks like the Emperor is walking away from an empty chapter in their life as well. It's time for two people to like really love on each other, and really fill each other up, with happiness, with companionship, with joy, all these things. This Emperor has had a very desolate chapter of their own life where, and they have the courage to walk away, just like Leo is in this story. Hierophant upright. Our Emperor probably met someone who turned out, much like Leo, to not have been their partner after all, to have been somebody who left them feeling pretty cold. And the thing is, instead of getting bitter or instead of saying, oh, there's nobody out there, I'll never marry, I'll never love again, this person's like, more than ever, I want to meet the person that I would marry. Here we go again with a marriage card. Here we go with that, Hierophant. More than ever, I'd love to have a partner, a true partner that I would see a long-term relationship with. I really like this for Leo and this Emperor. This feels really good. It feels like this is such a powerful, maybe for Leo, I think this is the most powerful portal, this Lion's Gate, which makes sense that it would be. But I'm loving what we see here for Leo. I'll be curious to see, all week, we'll be doing, kind of energy check-ins and such, and I'll be very curious to see what else comes up in our Leo videos. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. Hi, Buffalo. My little Tatanka is here, my little kiddo. So my dog, I call him my Tatanka because he looks like a little buffalo. But I will be back later on, you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.